back up from the muscle glycogen and lactate perspective of exercise physiology and talk about things that are of actual interest to people in the weight room. People in the weight room don't give a shit about muscle glycogen and lactate, all right? They know how it feels to get the pump and the burn and all this other dog shit. And they don't care why there's a burn. They don't care about any of that stuff. All they care about is, am I getting stronger? Am I getting bigger? Do I look better than I did 6 months ago? That's what people care about. All right? And as it turns out, the effects that training have on you is dependent to a large extent on the demographic category that you occupy. Are you 7 years old? Are you 37 years old? Or are you 67 years old? Are you 87 years old? Because these are all of these represent different organisms. You change as you age. And as a result of that, your training needs to change as you age too. So we're going to get into this in some detail today. And let's first start by examining who would come into the gym and get the absolute best, fastest results in terms of strength and hypertrophy. And that would be a kid who starts lifting weights when he's like 16 years old. And he stays with it for the next 15 years. He is going to display the most positive response to training stress than anybody else. And we're talking about a male, 16-year-old male. He's got poisonous levels of testosterone. He hasn't had time to accumulate a bunch of injuries, so he doesn't hurt anywhere. And his response will be immediate and very noticeable. He comes in, first day in the gym, he squats 115 for 3 sets of 5. Okay. And then his bench and his press and his deadlift are proportionate to that. He comes back in the second day in the gym. First day was Monday, second day is Wednesday. And he's going to do 125 for 3 sets of 5 on his squats. And then Friday he'll come in and do 135. And then the next Monday we'll probably take him to 140. We'll slow down from 10-pound jumps to 5-pound jumps. 140 for 3 sets of 5. And then 145 and then 150. And so on and so forth up to, he will probably retain this progress gradient until he's up in the low 300s. Would you all agree with that?
Yeah, if he's doing everything right.
Yep.
If he's doing everything right, this course assumes he's doing everything right.
And that's the problem.
That's the problem with that age group is they don't tend to do everything right.
Well,
That's the problem with all age groups.
Yeah, and it's not even just that. I rarely get a kid that wants to come in that's not already playing 2 or 3 sports, who has to do a mandatory workout in the gym at the school, who's got so many things going on. So it's
right.
You hit
all of which
ceilings
interfere
quicker.
with his compliance.
Yeah. Yes.
With our program.
Yes.
All right, but the number one adjunct to this kind of a busy schedule for a kid like that is diet.
Mm-hmm.
And number 2 is sleep. Little bastards don't want to go to bed. I understand that, It's all kinds of stuff to do late, Join us this week on Starting Strength Radio. The podcast this time will deal with a very important topic, especially if you are in the business of training people. The demographic, the age group, and other physical characteristics of those people that you train will determine the approach you take to the Starting Strength method. And what I hope to convince you of this week is that the method is the same for everybody. But the way that method is applied to the individual client is what is important for you to understand in order to have a good outcome for that client. That's this week on Starting Strength Radio.